Anyway, spent $145,000.
That being in our budget.
I pull up the budget, and I don't.
We had a budget of $137,875 last.
So then we took in a little bit more than our budget.
I mean, it's more than the 155 is more than we budgeted. It's a little 12. When does our fiscal year end?
We only get money one time a year.
One fiscal year.
But income only is in July and August. It's
The cash flow are two different things, but I just interesting to see where we're at because
we're not going to get any more money, is what I'm saying. Get all the money in July and August.
Really, here.
And we'd get any after that. So.
All right, let's get. We'll get budget up. We've cut it. We cut the budget. The budget about 10%. We're just figuring we're going to lose some teams. Not sure if we're going to or not really, but we just estimated 10% lower. If we get more, then it's good. We fit the budget into a smaller amount of money. I just went to Linda, but we went through it at our budget meeting and pretty well. I unbalanced before. The one on it is when we get it, everybody at you at home, take a look at it because there were some changes. Obviously the administrative fees are higher, reflecting more of the money we spent on the clerical end of the business, and that's down about 2 or 3 different areas. Revenues are the same. I think we adjusted it. I don't even think we adjusted it, but we did put a little more in for enhancing, like maybe 60. What is it, Linda, on there? 6,500 or 5,000? I think we put in for referee enhancement. Frank's idea about trying to get maybe 2 or 3 of these meetings with all the referees to go through what we want, what we would like. And Frank and Merritt are on there, so I mean we've got you guys are pretty tuned into the refs, and they thought that would work. It's much the same. So right now we are how much having the account? Look at P&L statement. I don't have that. I'm going to when I talk about budget, we're pushing probably about 170. Okay, that I think for the next maybe 5 years we may just slowly keep it on things as we go.
As of May 31st, $175,000 was in the bank.
Yeah. And
it's about $10,000 worth of expenses maximum to come out.
Yeah, the burn rate, so you got about 170, 165 at the end of the fiscal year.
Which is January.
Yeah, what I was commenting on, usually we're below budget on everything. We've all been there. The 145 would be above, so I'll take a good look at that and see. And next month we'll take a look, as a matter of fact, and just see where it is. Because that's odd for us. We usually, I think we budgeted 145. That was, I think, the budget last year. Am I correct? We're at 37,875. We 145. This P&L is correct.
This is what we started the year with as our projected. This was our budget.
Right.
The best that came up with at the meeting.
What's the latest P&L we have? Would you print that off site? You can see we took in 145, and we were about 8,000 above budget. Well, I'm not going to waste any more time looking at it, but there's the budget. It's just odd that we're above it. Right, and a couple $1,000. Now, P&L is what we actually are spending. That's what we're taking in and spending in a year. Just like it to mirror the budget is, and that's not bad. I mean, that's as good as any organization is going to do, but still it's, we've got to do ourselves, to the members to keep a close eye on what we're spending. I know we don't, in any area, we don't go very crazy at all. We're pretty conservative. and that's how we ended up with a, $170,000. Secretary's report, there really is none. We don't have a secretary, per se, we've got one. I mean, we're really now the VP, that's really taken over the duties of the secretary. We're just making the secretary have the kind of oversight we need to make everything goes out and we look professional in the field and whatnot. But as for an actual report or anything like that, I wouldn't even bother with that no more, Sherry. VP, senior boys, Melissa, you have anything?
A few dates. Applications for the senior boys are due July 1st with payment. July 18th is the senior coaches meeting, and August 9th will be the first game.
Got the calendar though, don't we?
It's all on everything's on the calendar. If you look at the calendar, you'll see all the dates, website.
I think you also have them right here.
Yeah, that's where they are. I was just going there to.
What about the group from the Musketeers? Is that are they senior teams?
I have no idea. They didn't get
Well,
back.
I'm asking Melissa. Is that to your knowledge? Are they senior teams?
The one Miller juniors.
Are they? Okay. Anything else?
They haven't gotten back with us on
Yeah.
the request that we had. They asked for a letter. We haven't given them one. Because they did get back with us on the field issue. You said since they were lower C3, that they agreed.
They're really just way out there, and it's. I think it's. Not a complaint. They had an issue about the bond, the performance bond. They misinterpreted.
But no, that's straightened out. Once they got the rules, that was straightened out.
So they understood that. They weren't going to lose their $1,000 if somebody gets canceled.
No. And the other issue that we had was I could not find them on this.
They straightened that out too, didn't they?
Not yet. I haven't.
Well, they get another name, didn't they?
That's not there either.
Okay. All right.
So,
okay.
I'll let you know when it's resolved.
Yeah. I mean, we'd like to. We're here to try and schedule people and get them to play.
Musketeers and Charlotte Township.
Okay. Know anything? Melissa knows a few of them, and they seem to be fairly real people. But
They good people. They're working with a lot of Spanish kids. My question is, how would you work this out with this that they are?
well, here's what we're gonna. Here's what we got to try and decide tonight. Or if we're not going to decide it tonight, we got to decide in the next 2 weeks with all of us involved. Did you get my email tonight? I sent an email out to all you guys. You didn't?
I didn't either.
The server, the Roadrunner server was down today, but I sent this out a couple days ago. I was asking that everybody take a look at this issue with C5. We're trying to figure out how to deal with the travel issue. I was 5. Did you go to the planning meeting, Joe? Did you go to the planning meeting? The 2 months ago. All the it used to be the coaches meeting. So it seemed to me to be the consensus of everybody there when we deal with that the first division would probably bite the travel. Teams are well organized and ready to play anybody. That the T5 will play home games in that division, but the second and third division. There would be some limitation as to where they play. Dan is from Braden River at the time, and I will recheck with him, said the Volunteers field. He said they could use Braden River as a home field, so that we would C5, if you look at our bylaws, C5 already supposed to have no home. It's come past that we just do it. But guys that run the seniors and the juniors too, when you second and third division meetings, it's brutal because it wants to go no one wants to travel 2.5 hours to C5. And we decide, the board has got to decide, maybe with some input, do that, we need to do that soon, like within a week or two, to tell us teams they're gonna play at Braden River or some other facility that we will have ready to go for them. And that changes, I mean, we'll do that later, we'll bring that up, but anyway, that's, so there's a part of that.
Yeah, because the Braden River's not having that.
Years ago, that's what we used to do. All right, anything else, Melissa? Let's keep moving on this.
No, that's it.
All right, when your boys, Mike and, Steve, haven't heard from, I know Merritt's not coming.
Mike said he's not coming, and
Okay.
Steve will be late.
I'll go.
Yep, they emailed earlier today.
The email, who's on the email? Was I on it?
I thought so.
Yeah, that's all right. DOC is, I mean, we don't have a DOC. There is a director of coaching. It's not a position, it's a position we basically eliminated. How about you, Frank? Do you have anything?
No.
I don't until we bring up this C5 travel thing, because it's important that we come to some conclusion and tell those guys how it's gonna be. The rest is with that. Old business, proof of service to regular site community. Just read it. A reminder to send in proof of service. The red cards can be updated. They clear it up by the start of next season. Obviously, we've got a site that can handle the reporting and remember who's actually served if we get the information to them.
Quick, so far, there's no longer.
Oh, that's right. And there is no, I mean, that's what we went to basically at the AGM, that the referee liaison and coaches liaison, we've cut the board back at that meeting to there are 4 appointed positions. I mean, it's unwieldy, if nothing else. And, no contact between the coaching director. There is no such thing as a coaching director or a referee liaison in our setup anymore. Yeah.
I've got the discipline list up on the board here.
It was never in the bylaws. It was never those positions weren't, the referee was the coach. So we eliminated the referee liaison position in bylaws. The other one was I never found it. Is there an issue with the red cards as you have them now, Linda?
The outstanding suspended need to be served, and we're going to send this list out to the and advise them that players should not be playing, and if they have played any game, we're technically under suspension, and for any they might have played, like I don't know how we're going to word it, but the kids played in state or region cup. They, the coach played an illegal player. So we're going to get our coaches to really monitor their opponents and make sure that these kids are playing. That's happened in the other areas of the state. The coach monitor it. If they see one of these kids suspended on the field, they report it so it can be dealt with. So happens a lot down in Miami. But these are outstanding, and they shouldn't be. I mean, we should have this many. And some of these are from last year.
All right, everybody knows that, you got to get your guys proof of service on there, or they can't play. They got to.
That you're going to stick to the coaches' information. I would just make.
The club.
Yeah.
No, it's going to go to administrators
Oh, okay.
and coaches. We never send anything to coaches without going to the administrators. But we're going to let the coaches in an email soccer so that they can see it. I mean, we're actually going to copy it, not just send them the link. In the past, we sent them the link. This, I think, if we put the names in. Once we get our table working, we're working. Okay.
Or to they're scheduled, it's important to get the coaches there because that's the time to discuss these issues and get things done, although we want to get most of this set with the juniors and the 9s and 10s with whoever is on their board or head coach that is involved in that area of their club to assess his 9s and 10s and figure out how they want them to go. We had problems still last year. We had issues last year again. We went to the supposed coaches meeting in the spring. Well, now the new planning session, which was the thing we used to have all the time. And we get 9 and 10 and nothing's really been done. We had a meeting, in fact, before with the head coaches, and even with some stuff. We got to the meeting, nobody had any idea that nobody had any plans for them. So we had teams that were unhappy because they were weaker teams, who was all put in USA, were matched against some other clubs' teams. If that's how some clubs put their kids in some kind of chronological order of play, if you've got more than one team. Clubs mix them up in that so that the kids are all, there's no A team and B team. And that creates an imbalance for some people. And if you've got a business there where the kids are paying money to play and they're getting punched every day or every week at the fields, it makes them unhappy. And so we were trying to get the head coach or the people running the clubs to sit in, try to mix their people in, and lively for them. Get it done. We're going to keep trying to do it, but we didn't get it done at all. Not at all. We didn't get it done to the degree we needed to last year. No one wants to travel too far. Everyone's balanced play, and the big clubs with 25 teams and under 9 and 10 don't play each other, which I understand. It's not worth it for us to schedule all their clubs. They could do that at home. So we're balanced 3 juxtaposed needs of the club, and it's not working. And that's something better worked out with a smaller group of people than so we're trying to get that done again this year. We're going to still work at it. Other than that, anybody, Frank, you got anything to say about the coaches meeting or anybody? It's real important to be there though, because that's when things get done. That's when people just don't want to play in the first division. They drop. Guys can move up at that point if nobody else wants to play to fill things out. That's when the size of your playing group get adjusted. You start with the theory of an 8, but then, we get to the numbers make more sense at 8 and 10 or 10, it all gets done. And out there, you've got, we got it again, and this year we're going to put it, hopefully, like something horrible. If you're there, apps don't come and start trying to get things rearranged because it's too late. We've already got 500 something to try and mix into this coalition. It's hard enough. If you get somebody to it to protect your interest, then you really need to just need to take what happens. It's not, we're not trying to hurt anybody, but the coordination such that it's got to get done at those meetings. It's important to get somebody there. That's all. New business, USA calendar set for next season, posted on the website. For senior team applications, Melissa just mentioned them. The seniors, juniors, August 1st. No lays will be accepted. There's 2 other items in new business. The first is a C5 thing. So, Frank has. We've gone from playing at Northport. Home games for everybody, and now there seems to be members seem the way they expressed it, they want to, try and get that adjusted again. And if we're going to do that, we need to do it soon. These guys have a certain expectation from those kids that are on the team of what they're playing and what if they find out that home games are gonna be at Braden River and their away games are gonna be wherever they are, it might make it less than attractive to runners they have. They go over to Miami, second division teams. I don't know how well I think they do have second division play over there. And isn't there down in Southwest Florida League, Melissa? Series too. Right, so it's not of the caliber that they'd like it to be, so they prefer to play in USU.
I just think it's the alligator alley trip, pretty much. That's what it's come down to most of the time. Guys don't want to, coaches don't want to take that extra hour to go down that.
Well, that's South Florida League,
Southwest Florida though is in.
Southwest Florida's in Southwest Florida.
It's in Lee County.
It's poorly,
I don't think there's a lot of senior teams.
Southwest Florida.
Yeah, I think mostly junior teams. What do you know, Melissa? I don't think it's.
it is mostly senior.
Yeah. I don't think they have any senior play. Miami, we looked at that last year because that was everyone said, well, they're going to Miami. Linda pulled the site down. There isn't that many. There's 30 teams or something that are going over there. Cape Coral, Lee County, is one of the clubs fairly heavily represented versus the clubs there. There's not scads. There's not 50, 60 teams going over there either. So that it's a problem where they're located. There's no good way around that. It seems like the second and third divisions, when we get to the coaches meeting and get into divisions, the drawing straws. It got that bad last year because, and I understand that people from guys past going to Cape Coral. It's, there should be plenty of play within, say, 50 or 60 miles of the airport, something like that. I know C3 may go further. Question about the Musketeer, even though we want in. Yeah, out there, man. I mean, they're out on the tip of, they're lower than C5 in some cases.
No, they're Gasparilla Island.
Yeah, but actually, if you go straight across, there's some C5 teams that almost same distance.
What did we come up with? It was an hour just for them to get on the main line.
Yeah. The way you have to get there, and so.
I'd say about an hour and 20 minutes,
So let me just show you, I'm gonna pull up the FYSA
And
map.
it seems somewhat unfair to, reasons for the kids and everything else, and I understand that, but, the amount of miles driven, the amount of player miles, that's 1 player, 1 mile, right? It's driven to do this, doesn't make as much sense as it might. First division, okay, you want the best teams around, those teams are a little better organized, maybe they can get there. Second or third division, and it wasn't that many teams. I mean, we're not really dealing with 60 teams, but we've come to an agreement so we can flip something. Now, here we do this, it's going to be bad because it's going to, you say, well, we're going to start next year so we don't surprise you.
When time, right, River.
At the age, and I asked Dan specifically, can you handle it?
There's this new club down here, the club that we're talking about right now.
Backward. He said the fields, even the referees.
This is C3.
Now, how much?
They would be within C3. I don't see how they'd be in C5 because.
The point is, do we want it, do it
It's all part of this.
right now, or do we?
Violence and this separation.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are so, part of that, here's the other thing to think about. This is just a minor, like a set of what we're talking about now, where they're located. Because we told them, look, you might not have any home games. Is that okay?
I'll come back and say it was.
But then, they didn't, I don't think they were real upset that how come? The rest of us, if you live in a certain place, there are disadvantages to it. Whether it's populated and traffic's worse and you're paying higher taxes. You live in places that are less densely populated. It's better lived, but youth sports not so good. You don't have a lot of people. So there were just things that we can't prevent that are parts of, you know, the geography of the city, just on this district. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
And they actually sanctioned yet.
They're not.
Well, I'm not concerned about that. These guys are a subset of that. They'll get put in, whatever we do. Here's the problem, though, Frank, here's the other problem. Just have it first division, how are they gonna get there?
Well, my belief is that you are playing first division, you travel across the world, you're a first division
No
player.
problem there. How are they gonna get from where they are if they're not in the first division? That's my point. They're gonna have to play up in Braden River and then coalesce into, some of them will say, look, let's put a team together. We have 2 second division teams.
Well, I just say, it was an hour and 20 minutes to get to his house. That's not too bad. I mean, hell, Hernando, he still to get to HCU or, 40 minutes to get to Wesley Chapel?
Yeah, but now with C5, I mean, the guys got 3 teams. They haven't even gotten back to us with what to do. So I'm not worried about that. We'll back when we come to it. So we have teams, and we have teams in the second and third division, and that is on our plate. And we're either restrict that this year and at least attempt to have the home games at Braden. This is the last year we're going to do it, and we're going to, from here on in.
I just want to know, there's an affiliation request in with FYSA for Marco Island, 20 south of Naples.
Yeah.
So, assuming that they'll be approved based on I don't know how many teams they have.
They're clearly C5, we have no problem. If they're handling C5, then they're in there.
Right.
Obviously, they're not going to have a first division team.
But this is the club that wants a letter from us, and they do not have it yet. Because they need a letter from the league in order to be affiliated with FYSA. We've not sent them a letter.
And that was the point I was bringing up.
Looking at the geography areas, I see something they can play.
Yeah, they want to. When I attended the meetings last year for the second and third division. Their point was, and it's well taken, we're just going to play ourselves because no one wants to come south. Even the guys from Sarasota, even Mickey said, look, well, and Reese, we said, well, take those guys. We'll sell. They said, wait a minute, that happens to us every year. They're absolutely right. I mean, that's a long trip for them. Because in that one area you're driving through that's 40 miles, there's nothing. So, haven't handled the geographic split well. Their point was, if the 5 of us are going to play, we don't need to be in USA, we can do that ourselves. It's scheduled just us down there. They're going to get some play. So that handling it with this geographic sleight of hand it's disingenuous. It's not. Yeah, but we got a lot more to. When we're talking about the amount of teams, the density here. If you we did look actually, and the center unweighted. In other words, just moving around, seeing how many teams. The airport really is the dead center. In other words, there are more teams within 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles of the airport location. So you can't play. That stretches out to Auburndale and those guys out there at the Ridge. A little Braden River, so we're including C3. It's really at the edge of North Coast, but you only have one club there that's outside that limit. Everything else lies within that 50-mile radius. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think we're
Divisions 2 and 3. What they're driving.
yes,
You have
yes.
here, you try to 3 to 2 to 1. Okay, well, 3 to level is 1. Do that. You have to work your way up. Whatever. That's the reason why
bylaws and say, look, we're gonna exclude premium. No, that was their point last year. I mean, there were, I think the most we had, if I'm not correct, in any below the first division, was 4. May have been in the 13, somewhere we had a parcel of teams.
And you have
And those guys, yeah, okay, but, exactly right, and those guys said, look, we don't wanna do that, because we get stuck with that every year, it's still a lot of travel. We're excluded from many of the teams, because I said, when we do this geographic sleight of hand thing, we end up looking at the teams in the southern part of our legitimate 50-mile radius. We don't have that, just for sake of argument. You like 50-mile radius, we take all the teams in the southern end of it, it's down there to make a league.
So we have to go down
Sarah's or even Northport, when Frank and I, early on in this coalition. Well, I just, look, they gotta deal with, that's a separate issue. If, yeah, that's the point now, do we limit it, do we make it do we bring them central points in the second and third division, or we tell them, hey, there's gonna be any home games in the second and third division? You're gonna be in Braden River or some other assigned area that we can cut a deal with. So the fields, right, Braden River that are available also.
It would be necessary
One year I had to play up in our hand, 4 times. I didn't have football that early.
Right. I mean, there were exceptions for the club. What we, as a general rule, to tell them right now so they know when they come in, here's what it's gonna be, and, if you wanna have home games, then start by teams pushing them together and,
they could have 2 teams from that area in the same division, and they could have home games, they could play each other, possibly.
yes, in this division, or even in
Second
second
and
division.
third.
But don't wanna be summarily in the division with each other all the time. That's their point, which
Yeah.
every one of them said, look,
So then we play at Braden.
Division, second division, work their way up to first division.
so you know, we're saying if I hear you correctly, that, we do pose that rule, say, we're trying, and we'll get back with Dan and make sure Braden River's available and, it'll still work. We're gonna limit the play in second and third divisions, in C5. Version, you're gonna be game wherever they are, wherever they be, Courage, the best down there to play in.
First division, they wanna play there, doesn't really matter.
Someone wanna make a motion, I think we have a quorum.
I will leave it open, so that if there is a second division team that has played together for 6 years, and they want to do the travel, we make it clear at the coaches meeting to the opposing teams that they qualify for slot 2 in second division, and they'll be traveling.
I think 5 expects to travel and they do it. I think it's the other ones up in the teams that wanna.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair.
And it's not only that, it may play, we'll work around the geographic problem all the time, Frank. We're not ended up with we want our teams set, because we're geographically working around the problem. Instead of doing that, we say, look, now the further south anybody's gonna go. Anybody. The river in the second and third division, so we set them exactly as according, as we can, as close as we can in playing, things.
You mean nobody's gonna go down to play Northport or Portland?
I'm sorry, and who's gonna go to C5?
Okay.
You know, at some point, we may get,
Well, what's the motion?
well, are we, first of all, we're got a quorum, correct? I'll make a motion that no, teams below I can't make it. And the motion will be, Brian, no teams below the teams in the second or third division.
And then no C,
And no C5 teams in the second or third division will have scheduled for any home games.
and then no 5 teams, 2 or 3 have any home games.
That's just by our bylaws, it's no special. Yeah, we got
I'll throw a second.
in favor. All opposed? All right. Got a quorum, but I mean, there's two, I know Mike and Steve feel the same way. Steve, we voted on the C5, second and third division, not getting any home games.
Okay.
So, No, we're gonna go back to the bylaws and enforce the bylaws.
Your place.
Okay. Oh, but they are going to, or is
They're not going.
they're not?
Yeah, we're gonna, I thought tonight we need to tell them one way or the other, they got time to plan. Something else or to.
So they'll play in Braden River.
As far as we know, yeah. And the last time I talked to Dan was at the UGR.
That's what I.
Yes.
Why would they have, I mean, Green River to Northport or Port Charlotte is like an extra 45 minutes. Why couldn't they go on the edge of C3 where, instead of all the way, yeah, go with Northport, Port Charlotte.
Right now, we have a club that's telling us that they'll take their games there, and we're, and we know we got a referee.
But it's way up here.
Like, 40 minutes more north. I mean, if Sarasota has to play a C5 team, Sarasota goes north to Bradenton.
Well, if Sarasota, if one of those clubs will step up and make fields available, so they got referees, then we'll think that. They're gonna, right now, Braden River is our best option. If CL steps forward, Northport used to be a great, I thought, not bad a drive.
Beneficial.
Yeah, but that's
The residents
us.
are only.
Braden River has said, you can use our fields, we have the refs, we have the capacity. If they wanna volunteer their fields and work those clubs, then we'll take a look. I'd be willing to take a look.
I think the smaller clubs down south get excluded a lot.
They do.
I'm speaking for the little people.
And they do, you know, and that is unfortunate, but I mean, this is, you can't take 400 teams and fit them in for the 8 that don't have it, and we've gotta come up with something, because as we get to these meetings, they get worse and worse every year as far as trying to figure this out now. So with this convoluted mess in the second and third division, because nobody wants to go south. Guys down south don't wanna be stuck with each other all the time, and they're exactly right. So there is a benefit to living in this million-person metropolis that we live in. There are disadvantages to it also. The disadvantages of living in an area where there's less people and a bucolic lifestyle is it's not that you use sports because there aren't that many children. It's the way it is. There's nothing else. That is one of the costs of living in those areas, and we can't, as a 500-team group, take care of everybody. They've got to adjust to that. That's one of the disadvantages of doing. When I see the kids from Schimberg, who half of them have have cars that probably won't even make it, going down to Immokalee. I think the same thing. This is insane. I mean, what are we crazy? Doing this. So, and the team from Schimberg doesn't need to, because there's plenty of play right around them. We force them to make that adjustment. If we tonight, our bylaws don't have C5 in there for a reason. That's the reason. We didn't even play them years ago. That wouldn't even be. Then we set up this thing in Northport, and that worked fairly well. I don't know what happened to that Friday. I don't broke down, but they had 2 fields there. It got a little tough, but.
time, couldn't have the fields, school, had to play some.
Anyway, so we'll adjust, and I think Melissa finds some club that's gonna come up and, see, Dan has already volunteered. If we can order it somewhere else, then I think we need to take a look at it for their sake.
Also, I'd like to throw in there when the VPs put together their schedule for the relegation anyway, teasing that if those teams are willing to make that goal, to play the more teams that we have at, and have those understand that there's a price to pay if you don't go up for the games. I think we leave that open.
Yeah, I don't understand that though, Frank. Explain it to me again.
Yeah, I live Englewood, Division Two.
Yes.
My team has been to this year. Now I know the team Division Two, and I know I'm a contender for relegation up to Premier. And I end up playing full score.
We've segregated you geographically. Yes, but we just got rid of that. In other words, there is not going to be any reason for anybody to segregate it south and north since we've moved from the home games away. Now we
How do they get promoted from?
they get promoted by playing at Braden River. They play and win all their matches and go up to the first division.
What if the team at the bottom of the first division is, Pinellas team? They get relegated, have to travel south. Is their spot, is they're moving up?
No. Why would you travel south? They're in the second division, right? Not gonna go any further than Braden River or anywhere other teams.
I don't know that really even,
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter. I mean,
Right.
first of all, it depends on what age group it is.
Right.
It all depends on how much division within a second division there is. I mean, there's only one, and it is what it is. You know, if we do have two division, second division, we may split up a little bit north and south or whatever, but I mean, but the only that, you know, it doesn't matter.
But we've done that, Steve.
But they're still not traveling all the way down to, and maybe I'm wrong, but then we just said, you know, where's that far down, the furthest they're gonna travel.
Secret.
So that team would then have to travel south, but that's a part of the relegation of being relegated into a division that, you know,
Well, it's to me that the
but they won't go that, you know, nobody will go that far
teams in
down.
the first division are the only ones that will be going further.
Exactly.
That's okay. I mean, that's understood when you go in there.
And that's understood.
Put the gloves on.
That's what you work for.
Travel.
Right, and when we get to second division, if we have two teams, we still will try to do north and south, but it's still not gonna be any further than, so if you have like a,
Well, we've had to do that because of the geography. The point is, now, we could sit exactly stacked by how good the team is. Eliminated the need for to limit.
that's the other thing I would like, right, and that's the other thing I
The
would
little
like to
kids, we do it that way.
Yeah, the other thing I would like to do is for maybe some of the junior, older juniors, is to look on those teams and take into consideration records from last year and stuff, and not stack one division over, but this is easier than two second divisions.
But we shouldn't even have a second. But there's no purpose.
Right, but even with, once we've done that, don't take all the rest of the teams and put the teams that, just because the better of those teams are in the north, you know, weak south and a strong north, you know,
Well, yeah, but I think that
That's part of it.
ends with just what we just did,
Yeah.
though, Steve. Now we can put them
you know,
close
look at
as
the
we
teams,
can to
I
their
wanna
playing
say,
ability.
once we've relegated and derelegated, you know, I want three real strong teams in the north and three weak teams in the south.
But there shouldn't be a
Just
north
because
and
of
south.
geographic.
Shouldn't be a north and south. In other words, we mix them now because no one's gonna have the
Red and blue,
success.
like red and blue or something.
Well, second division, third division, if the team's, not as good as the other 8 teams above,
But if you have two divisions.
well, we've been doing that, Brian. We've split the divisions because we've had this geographic. And then we've been balancing it.
Well, if you have 16 teams, that's put it in.
Well, like a second or third division, teams going to second, third, but everyone's traveling. now, you know, to avoid managing, because there's three C5 teams in there, that we found last year. Good.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult to split them at any, so we ended up with these all geographic hodgepodges, yeah.
We'll look at it
So,
when the.
now at least we have a clear rule for them, so they know that, hey, 90% that I'm not going to. I'm not gonna play any of their own games.
What's the furthest anybody's gonna travel?
Well, I don't know, it depends on the guys from north there, way up north, and end up traveling. West,
What's the furthest south?
3, but right now we have, Great River has frontier, their fields for all of us. We can fix something.
Anything
Anything
goes
further?
south
Yeah.
of Braden River. So
The C5 home
the
games.
furthest north is gonna ever travel would be to Braden River.
Well, theoretically, now, if we get north border Venice, or something like that steps forward. And River has the muscle to be able to actually handle that. Organizational skill, probably. You got that one?
Oh, yeah, we've got your register.
No, I'm saying you got that, you got the vote down, and we're in it. And that's the only new business we had. Awesome.
Second, Exxon League is a recreational.
You want soccer?
Oh, it's US Club?
There's nothing we can do about US
Yeah,
Club.
we-
It is a separate organization.
Oh, yeah, but it's,
Two competition.
it's great. It's great.
To me,
No. Look, in the USA Coalition, right, and not the voting people, but in all of us, there are everything from soccer businesses to volunteer soccer organizations. We are a hodgepodge to start with. All we do here is to strengthen my funds, and I'm hoping this year we've put the money into the referees, into the clerk end of it, so it's smooth as silk for everybody. Easy to play, the density of play is good. In other words, you're gonna be playing teams about as good as you or not. If US Soccer or all this other stuff come through, only was one U.S. business, right? Yeah. Right, the mojo we haven't,
Yeah, it really, it's, I mean, I'm pretty.
Well, they're trying to sell that, and Gerald, if 5 more leagues come, let's say, just to get everybody to balance the play, to get them there, you see what we go through here, and the type of organization we have now that is covering everything. No one else to do that and pull off a good product. It's that easy, and all we can do is to run ours well. So it's easier to play in this because it's a better choice. And we have, someone supplants us, then we become them. We're all the clubs, because that's what US Soccer, we're not anything. We're the membership. And so we'll play in that league. Let them figure it out, and they'll be sitting up here doing the same thing all over again. Another one comes and supplants us. That's the way it is. As long as it's an open league and we can all play in it. That, what we here a couple of years ago was that.
Here's what I suggest. Look at it, what they are, and then
Joe, I'll be honest with you. I think this club, where we're concerned, is moot. It's nothing to do with us. I don't care about them. I worry about you want to say sanctioned clubs that are playing that's a league. So if some of you want to take the club and bring it to the US Club, pay $1,000, my God, go ahead. It's not going to affect. Not to affect.
All right. That's, you know, we know what to do. I mean, we've got to run this thing right and make sure that what we're doing is fair, equitable, and then we're putting a product out that is as good as we can do organizationally.
Register, not $125.
Yeah. No, wait. Yeah, even the CDL was a marketing tool.
You know, until it's open, like you said, where you accept everybody.
If the league is open, then there's no fear of it destroying us, because all we're doing here, in my opinion, is to try and keep the league where everybody's invited, so that every club has a chance, an outlet to play. CDL was not designed that way. It was designed to pick and choose, so dry other guys up, basically, so they'd have nowhere to play. I think we've used that effectively, and as what supplants us is open for everybody to join, legitimate.
Getting more and more.
On that
Yes,
point,
they're growing, but still, 1 and 2 teams. Whatever. Still have teams. They're like.
They're bringing and encompassing clubs, you know, like Largo, and Largo is a small club, but Largo now, I guess, like TBU, right?
I call them Largo or something.
So, but, and now, West Pasco's supposedly affiliating with Clearwater. West Pasco is now making an affiliation with Clearwater.
yeah, we were with TBU last year or the year before, so who knows where they'll be
They
next.
were actually with us 1 year, and then they were with TBU, and then they're, you know, so, I mean,
We're gonna have teams.
On that note, just that Linda had separated something for me. This is for the record, and I think we'll find a way to put this out. We did it last year. Look at the state final state cup as it runs. When you read out all of the age groups and the final 16 and the final 8, very few teams, if you want to make an argument that you're too good for this league, and final 16, you argument, but I don't think so. Final 8, you got an argument, you know, legitimate. Final 8, there are like 12 teams. I'll get it to you next week. I did add it up. I just can't read it. But there's like 15 teams that can argue that the entire playing coalition, that is over all the age groups in there, boys and girls. 15 teams, that's nothing. Where are the rest of them that have an argument that we're too good for you? It's absurd. And last year we looked at it as the same thing. There were very few teams claim they can't play in this coalition because they're too good, that are re-showing it on as a merchant. guys, it's absolutely.
It's almost like, trying to win the weekend. Bad mouthing. That's what they're doing, they're bad mouthing.
Not that it'll,
Well, it's because, well, they can afford, they charge an kid $2,700, and they're telling them that, they're telling them he's the greatest thing to think of, so he's gonna make the national. All he needs is some good training, we provide that. Now, the kid goes out there and he's just the same that he always is, because we won't take the whistle. In other words, if it, two more, but the two things most highly esteemed game are gyms out there and often they touch a ball. You can train a pig all you want, it ain't ever gonna whistle. Basically, you just train them. They're not gonna touch a ball outside of the thing, and if they're slow and their coordination's not right, so you can't just no talent. That's what they're. I always thought that would be self-fulfilling thing. Parents every year willing to listen to.
Exactly, that's the market.
We have not. I think this year we're gonna stress communications some way, shape, or form. We're gonna somebody that can do. I think the jobs. I see next year. Our business. We did half of that salary. Take half. And we're gonna somebody that's gonna be talented. We're gonna have Twitter. Constantly be in the USA. Eagles looking how many region cup teams you had, how many region cup teams. Because we stood here. This is the start of it then. Look, if you can't play final eight of the season, then don't say you're too good to play. But if I tell you $2,700, that's worth it. I watch this happen. Kids from Schimberg, the Mutts from Schimberg come up and you beat them 2-1 and you have to get out of the game.
I'll just take that much I did the other one. Another one,
They're paid. Well, because, so I can't play against us because it is a bad comparison. Now, I watch the team, I hate to pick a reason. Yeah. So they're in the under, they're running under 15, they had a very good team that year, as Kevin McCarransky was on. We're the shore. They had a pretty good group. Steve Melton's playing. Melbourne is third in the state here. But the match, Steve from Melbourne is obviously more skilled. They're controlling the ball. DBU has athletes up front, so you can see if you keep banging the ball, they might get in get up often and be able to fight off this better team. The other team's going to win 7 out of 10 times. So it's Melbourne. It's not an athlete. Melbourne taking 2 steps back, so everything gets banged over. He's well in control of the game. Coach, the little guy, what's his name, Calvin, starts coming.
not himself.
You got it, man, and I was a sport guy. You see that at first. The game, some of those kids were on the sickle. Even Tony at the time was coaching sickles, high school coach at George sickle. So the kid around. So I'm up there talking. I said, yeah, I saw your match. I said, the team's real good. They probably could beat them, but I mean, they probably beat you 7. They better get prejudice. He said, took the game away from us. I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like, holy cow, man, I gotta go congratulate that guy because he just slicked them. You're right, he saw that the guy
You get your kids riled up to say.
his kids can't be wrong. His kids can't be wrong. And and the, obviously, the coaching, so where's the problem, was the team gonna miss like this? Really, I mean, man, that's business, that's
But
marketing.
it's all business, and that's that part.
Well, but it was effective, it was very effective, merchandise.
Taught
Now, that's-
kids in high school to blame their teachers for not,
Right.
even though they haven't picked up a pen or a book or
Correct.
a computer or whatever it was. You know, it's supposed to be osmosisly given to them, you know.
Well, yeah. If they're not doing well, it's got to be your fault.
It's my fault, or.
But that's the new, that's the new,
We've taught, 20 years. You know, we've these kids the mentality of they don't have to work for nothing because it's either gonna do them,
Yeah.
well, they'll have a reason why it was.
it somehow was seeped into society, I don't know, I don't know when, and it's just, we're only getting the zone in youth sports, all of it. And, you know, my kid, and the other part was, I was talking about the national team, and I said, you know, we really haven't developed any talent indigenously from us. A guy said to me, well, how, you know, what do you do? I want my kid to have I said, move to Mexico. Because I said, the only he's gonna play, he's gonna be touching the ball. And he'll improve, believe me when I tell you. But short of that, man, I don't know what to tell you, because there's no fucking way you can even find the environment for him. So he's living and playing, the kid's gonna play. We're not developing
You got a board?
our own talent, like Zeus's from Florida, from this area. There's one kid named Borussia Dortmund, for a Croatian kid that was Slovakian or something like that, who was played briefly a couple of years. We haven't developed anything,
Played in USA.
yes, he did.
Yeah.
And he played out in Brandon, I think, some course. I didn't even think he played full time for him. He still played for them. But he was
That's why.
good, big, tough kid, and,
It's good that we're gonna push harder.
I think that's part of what we, I see. We're scheduling about, but we're looking about it when of course, we wanna see this thing succeed. Now, it's different. I mean, you know, the worm is turned, and now, yeah, you gotta fight back, because we won't have a place to play. All of the kids that don't have a lot of money, or aren't gonna get taken in by that, can't spend 25 or 30 or trail sign up, spent 700 last year at, either Central Basketball, all those things. The other guy now, because most people won't tell you, because they're bad and they don't want anybody to know. The only other guy I know that was his girl was recruited by what's his name? Stopulus. Who's, yeah, you call it. And I met a girl, driving a national, you know, that's pretty hard to reach. That's in the heart. So, over there, this guy had 3 girls, played, you know, with Jordan all those years. And, I said, what did it cost you? One of their probably more, you know, aggressive teams. And the thing is, I don't put a bunch of guys making money. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. You can do that and still, yes.
Keep it within.
And you don't have to be a predator to the other clubs.
You know, the US is the only country in a player, the more. Yeah, the only country.
We tell our kids, of course, if you're gonna go somewhere else, they should get a scholarship. They said, you're good enough that they want you. Oh, we don't have anyone.
12 after, shall we get started?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I don't, we got it.
Oh, we got a bunch of stuff.
Let's go.
I plan on.
We had a bunch of,
Later.
stuff to go over. Okay, and this, come on now, what actually messages? Never mind. Here's this from the last meeting. We went over, we did the appointments of Kurt Rodriguez, Mary as members at large. Went over calendar, I have a copy of the budget, so it'll be posted. The Musketeer Soccer Club was discussed. And, Frank made a motion that Eric be removed as secretary. So talked about travel, and reimbursements per diem. That was it? Let's go.
Set numbers to it.
Yeah, it's all on there.
Right, yeah, I can't.
Make 'em,
Yes. Accept the minutes?
that's right.
Let's go, next item.
Protest and appeals, there's none.
Let's do it.
Okay, the new business, I wanna go over, I've been very busy saving the memos on, the website. We spent a lot of time, and the last thing I sent out was the send-off policy, which was a separate memo, I think I heard back from some of you. We removed that page, but we put it in the reference procedures that I had sent out. And whether that's been posted on the website, I want to bring it up to your attention, what we've got for inclement weather. I did send it out, but I really didn't hear back from people. So, this inclement weather and forfeit procedures, the forms to be filled out that, so that they're closing their fields due to inclement weather, because we would get text from people and we didn't have a clue who was contacting us. I mean, Sherry and I would know who. We've got a form so that they can put in information so that we can contact the teams so we get everything we want, and that's going to be the only way that a club is going to be able to close their fields. That's the way they notify us.
Well, we'll see about that. Well, let's think that through before we.
It's up.
We've got so many forms. In other words, let's be careful that lightning and raining, someone's got to go find a computer somewhere. Like
No. We're talking about if the
days before.
The night before.
The night before.
You know, it's been raining for the last 3 days. We know.
You're
yeah.
closing this, that's how you notify us. Now, during the day of the
That's good if you can do that, yes.
Yeah, the day of, that's a different
that's the
situation.
referee.
That's the referee.
That's the referee. We put this in the rules, and this is when they're notifying us.
You close the fields before the rest. I mean, if you've got a game, if you've got
And this
enough
is how
on
you do
game and you're on the.
Saturday,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, 8:00, look at this.
Then that's what you do. Yeah, that's what you do. It's,
We don't have any penalties in it.
no penalties. But what happened last year was we had clubs not notify us. They wouldn't find the rest. It's all back to that confusion of who should do in the notifying. The whole point, that's it.
With this addition, clerical addition, is no reason why I'll be more proactive and get to them. That's what I'm gonna require. And if we get down and we get some of these people.
The issue was always the clubs notifying us.
Yeah.
The issue was never us notifying the
We're
team.
gonna sit back anymore. We're gonna be aggressive. Listen, we're a lot more aggressive about getting out to them and saying, we know at the beginning of this year, who we get in touch with.
We've already got it. We've had it, we've got it.
But we're gonna wait and say they didn't call us.
We're not gonna know if we're not notified. If they notify us,
Anyway.
we can't do anything. Yeah.
When you're Sunday, you get a text, you wanna get back to them and say, who are you?
Well, let's put it this way, if they notify us on game day, I mean, we're not gonna make them go back and fill out a form,
That's
but, you know,
correct.
they're gonna sit there and say, okay, next time you need to do that, and we then clean them into a new system.
Yes.
And
We're
now,
not gonna penalize them for not doing it.
correct, but you're gonna say, look, next time,
Somebody freaks
you know
out.
this is gonna happen,
Right.
please do this form.
But here it
Yeah.
is, because when we get a form, the thing is a very simple form, it's only got 3 questions on it.
Yeah,
And it's
you know what,
emailed to
maybe
Sharon
not even
and I.
call it a form, maybe that's,
Well-
Say notification.
call it notification for receipt, whatever.
Yeah, that's right here. I mean, this is once.
I agree, we
Yeah,
should
there you
have
go,
this.
it's simple, it's a
It's
little
just-
Google stuff, it's a little Google stuff, yeah.
It's getting everybody to know that's where you're going, who's gonna do that, who actually
That's
do that.
why it's here.
That's why we've gotta interdict, we've gotta stay on top of it for a year or two to get them pounded in the system.
Oh, sure.
And now if they wanna,
Have the labor for it.
the issue we had last year was if they wanted to forfeit a game. It's within 3 weeks away, there's no penalty, but we had to be notified. Here again, it's in writing. So they just gotta do it,
It's just a matter of getting
so that we can
trained
cancel
to
the
do it a
rest.
certain way.
The problem is, all the coaches wanna call the refs, and they wanna call the assigners. They're gonna have to understand where they contact.
Well, it's easier for, I don't know why they would wanna do that. I'd rather just make one call and have to call everybody else.
We're gonna pound that at the meetings. In other words, we're gonna have Sherry's phone number. Sherry said if she needs a separate number, they want her number, and there's secondary source. These numbers you gotta call. Once you call them, we
When
don't
you
know.
mail them, that's what you do.
We'll be more aggressive about doing that ourselves. That's why we got the extra money.
In addition, people don't believe it. You know, so they feel like they gotta email the rep and the DOC, and then they gotta find Paul someplace, you know.
No, that's right. I mean, I think we.
The only thing I would do, and you're right, and people don't trust each other, you know, but all I would do is email USA or call, and then give a courtesy to the other coach just to know, you know.
But those
But
numbers
we're
are gonna be in their brain.
But you're gonna, I mean, you know,
We're gonna
it
say
would only
if
be,
a coach contacts you, ignore him
yeah.
and tell him,
How will you, I mean, I trust it, but let's say Saturday at 9 o'clock, Saturday 9 o'clock,
I'm being,
submit one of these, and
it will come to me fast.
right, but you're gone?
No, I mean,
Well, that's why we have two people. And there's somebody every Saturday.
I mean, I want you hanging around the computer all
No,
day
but
every Saturday.
that's what, that is what.
But that's what she does, that's what they're being
Yeah.
paid to do.
Yeah.
that's what Sherry and I are both paid to do.
That's what
And
they should do.
Now there's somebody that we're telling them, these people pay,
They work that.
get to them.
But I'm saying, right, last year, most of them did, but there was a couple of clubs that just wouldn't follow. They closed their complex, would have been raining, the complexes all around is closed. You don't know that they're underwater unless somebody notifies us.
Efficient, though, if we know and we get it out and everything's done, you know, and that's a, just town.
Yeah.
It might not even be a bad idea, you know, maybe the first couple of times, if we get like rain like this over the course of a day or two, maybe to just send them a reminder, you're gonna call your club, please
Yep.
make sure out this
Yeah.
form. You know, just for the first few
No,
times,
that's a great
you
idea.
know, I mean, just say, hey, remember, if you are with your club, please,
Over-communicate is simple, we have to
just,
do it.
you know, a quick email to everyone, just as a reminder, we have this new policy.
All right.
Moving on.
Okay, so that's that particular one. Corporate policies on here, and this is all from the rules. More than 3 weeks, we just need to know, and there's no penalty. If it's within 3 weeks, then that's where the fund comes in, or if you don't show. Now, the question I've got is, and this is what I really want to do, is the team have outstanding forfeit fines. I think we should post them on the website, not those that have been paid, but the outstanding, because if they're outstanding, our rules say they shouldn't be playing.
Take a year and tell them you're not gonna play.
I'd like to make a recommendation. The VD. What to do with FYSA, Carmen, did you get a notice, you're in arrears? Let the VP notify you.
We don't have the VPs notify anybody anymore. We have sent.
That's correct. We don't want, we want the admin deciding how it's gonna get done,
Right.
who's gonna get it.
Exactly. So the teams will have been notified. And we've got some teams that are just, I know what USA says, I'm not gonna pay it.
Well, we're penalizing the other, my fear is not jump the gun, we're gonna penalize the other team that shows up and say, well, you can't play. I think we're gonna make every effort.
Yeah, but you're right, I agree with you, Paul, but sometimes you do have to.
No, eventually,
One
if you
against
get,
the other in order to do it, you know, if you say,
you get 3 weeks in and you can't do
this
it.
is the thing, if I have a player that hasn't paid, my club, okay, I mean, we've let them play for like 4 weeks now, and they haven't, they're clearly taking advantage of it. What are we gonna do? We're gonna pull the pass. And that hurts the rest of the team, because it might be their stud goal scorer, their stud goalkeeper.
Well, we wanna give them ample opportunity.
We're giving them warning, so that's what I'm saying, if you notify them, and that at one point, your games will be forfeited from here on out unless, and you can go play, but they're forfeited.
Right, I'm just saying that, but post those that are in arrears, that are like not in good standing, just like FYSA does. they put.
And if you don't wanna pay, if after two
Email.
vacations of whatever, if your team is not paid, then you can go play your game. But every game will be a forfeit from there on out.
Well,
Well, it's a team.
But the club is the one that actually is gonna pay the fine, usually.
Yeah.
So the club needs to, we need to have,
Well, first we have to the team, because, you know, it is a team, and, you know.
but I think you also get the club straight away, because they're gonna.
But you don't have to prevent the team from playing, you just
I've
forfeit.
already got it posted.
In
I'm
the,
just getting,
So,
or you put them out at forfeit.
all right, and we can deal with that as we
And then the following year, if they are in the rears, if they pay it, then you can go against the club and say, well, we're not going to
fix it
protect
back.
your club
But
until you pay those
that's why we keep
fees.
it posted so that we know what's going on. Okay.
So I would approach trying to get that money out.
Well, first we start by contacting them, but we've had some last year that
Warning,
refused to pay.
and then forfeits remaining, you know, every game until,
The last one where he insisted on, not playing a game because he was in region cup.
You're fine, then. Are they on it?
Well, we haven't, I mean, that's just the one that comes to mind because it was the last game of the season. Those are the
No,
ones.
no, that was that was Jeff. You're talking about the under 18 girls.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't actually Tampa. Jeff didn't want to play because he had a,
He scheduled a game for region cup
yeah,
finals
yeah.
and then,
No, it wasn't FC Tampa, it was West Pasco. Jeff. Yeah, George wanted to play.
I'll send you the emails and you'll see.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I was involved.
yeah, well, just go ahead and post it. That way clubs, as they're signing their teams up or sending their affiliation
Right.
forms or whatever it is, they notify that we can't accept this form until those fees are paid.
It's one of those things that hung on last year that this year we can't do. We gotta get in there and tell them, here's where you're playing. You don't want to get forfeit.
I'm not gonna schedule, if you're in the rears, I'm not gonna schedule your teams.
Well,
And aside from that, this was something that the guy game coming legitimately, maybe he didn't want to get anybody hurt, so didn't want to play. It was the last match of the season, and just didn't. And we schedule it at any time. It makes sense.
And it's forfeited, and it's a $250
Well, you do
fine.
want forfeit.
anyways, Sherry and I have posted as many memos as we possibly can. We've updated. We'd like for you all to look at them. And if you've got any complaints, you need to know this week. They're all on the website. Now, there's a couple of things we still need to go over. The game report. I redid the game report, and Sherry, I want you to approve it. What I added to it was, I did a place for yellow cards, because we never had a place on our game report.
Oh, really?
for yellow cards.
Yeah, we should be
We
tracking.
should.
Good.
Now,
Which is cards, is that what it was?
right, our system, our gut system will track the yellow cards. The rest do need to enter them. Now, we're not penalizing.
You don't have a rule based on that, like so many accumulated yellow cards.
No,
No, but with dust stuff, we did have a big problem in one game with the girls supposedly used a large girl from like somewhere else. She'd be somebody, that whole thing. Well, and back, I mean, if you see 7 yellow cards and you say, oh yeah.
Well, game itself, but I'm just curious that for record keeping, do they, if they accumulate, you know?
Scott Soccer tracks them, but we don't have a
We don't have a
penalty.
rule about,
And Scott Soccer will allow us to put in a penalty, or, I mean, just do an automatic penalty on points, if you want.
Oh,
On the
your
cards
team itself will lose points.
But you may want to think about that in the future,
Yeah,
for next
yeah.
year. But,
Nobody's gonna get, if they get
No.
the red, yellow cards, and
No.
that they have to sit one game, but, yeah, okay.
no. So this is what I've got for the game report. It's really the only difference. Now, what I'm suggesting that we do, edited it out here so that you can see what it looks like, is referee procedures that we all approved, put in the back of the game report, so it's gonna be all 3 sheets.
Very good.
That way, there's no
Like that.
doubt at time.
No,
No, it's small,
there.
it's there, okay?
Perfect.
So we're gonna have a 2-sided, the game report's 3 parts, both sides, yeah, that's the one right there. And it's shrunk to 1 page.
Hopefully, they'll never have to use it, but if they have to, it's there.
no, it's good reference.
It's a good, it's as close I can get.
They need to be able, one of the peeves was, finish real quick, referees don't know policy procedures of the league. They're refereeing it.
And that was my pet peeve, and I had those couple of games that they didn't know about the, no guest playing for them.
And with our mentor program, this on there, guess what? No excuse.
I mean, it says that they gotta be pre-printed on, that they need to be pre-printed on the game card, on the roster. Does it? So nobody be asked, well, there won't be players anyway, it's a club pass and they'd be on there, so the refs, there should be nothing to draw a ref's attention to a guest player. And
True,
but-
yeah, in that regard it shouldn't, but again,
no.
I mean, that's the first thing, if, they'll see, what is it, right, for guests?
CP,
Whatever, okay,
CP for club pass.
oh, club, right,
Because a guest player
Right,
is
right.
a player from another club.
right, gotcha. I mean, they'll see that and go, okay, where's the point, I mean, it's just,
No,
yeah,
but we're not asking for forms.
good, it's there,
Very
that's good,
clear.
I like it. Good.
All right, that's that. Now, the assigners, we're keeping the same assigners, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Question. I take it that Annette and Pam are gonna do all age groups?
We only were the juniors last year.
Correct. So we're waiting for the seniors.
When do we decide that?
Need to get the contract signed by the assigners. However long you wanna wait.
Frank, what do you think? Melissa.
I've always had issues with their assignments.
I have to.
And up and down line for 3 years, it's not gotten any.
If they do not do that, who did last year? Who was that, region last year in the senior?
There.
We don't have any problem with him. Everyone there swears they're fine. Frank,
I think they're fine.
okay, but but I think Frank and Linda had some experience with them not doing it. I think we just, you gotta do it and keep an eye on them, or we're not gonna do it.
That's what we did last year.
Yeah, we didn't have a problem with
How did they do once they started doing it?
There were a few issues.
Yeah, nothing major. Nothing major came to us.
There were senior issues too.
The point, supposedly didn't have the contacts or the ability to really know who was going and to get them to get to the games where Tony did. Besides the games, so he's got more juice. Personally, I
You have to deal
try.
with what's your gut feeling on it, I mean, the one that's dealing with,
He's the best of all the assigners. Nobody comes close to Tony.
yeah.
When it comes to a question about a game report, Tony's on it, and it's done.
He also keeps copies, he's on referees. You won't get a supplemental that is not proper, that is not properly verbiage, there's no proper verbiage. And
Why did we take it, and why did we
Because he
take
was
it?
assigned in 3 or 4 districts.
Yeah, okay, because he
And
had,
the argument is that the other guy, he doesn't know the refs that well down in that area.
Right.
That's exactly what our,
actually, he really does.
well,
There's nothing down that area. He was in high-level refs from,
He was down 7. No, he sent, he was down academy referees.
let's keep it to, that's up to you guys.
he did the senior, but then,
He's senior, they did the junior.
I remember us talking about it, I was just,
I was at 3 different Venice 15 games, the center, that's.
however, we know that those centers all accepted the game. So it's something that could happen to Pam or Nick. If the center accepts, we can go in and look.
Well,
And all 3 of those,
they don't show up.
If the guys assigning people don't show up, that's a problem.
but it was
It's his
different.
problem, it's not theirs.
Well, it's the referees.
Referee's problem. If these are guys that accept the game from and don't show up,
And he,
they should do that once and he should never assign them again.
and he did.
Because
He came down all
also,
3
the
times.
referees were accepting other games as well. They had been brought up on review. You can't do, I accept the game from you, I have a responsibility to do
I mean, that's where the referee assigner's gotta either cut them and that's, stop using them.
But the first time when it happens,
Right. Happens 3 times.
And then there are issues with
I
sometimes
will have to go back to a bunch of emails.
referees refuse to go to other parties. Fair, I know Tony called me. I go by FSR bylaws.
They don't, well, and if you had some experience with them, well, actually thinks they're okay. I'm not, I would
In theory-
stay where we were.
in theory, I-
Seen the manager last year.
in theory, you know, we have
He's got no skin in the game.
Tony, I know Tony well, and obviously he does a good job and everything like that, but, you know, he's got his, his area, everybody has their area.
Well, the point is,
If not, I don't care.
we care or not, we care.
It doesn't matter to me,
Area
but-
also.
Things are gonna change this year. They're changing tremendously this year with the referees.
In what way, Frank?
Well, first of all, there are more research classes that you have to attend. Will be certified. They will be dropping the grade 8 next year. Okay? All signers, attending and academy referees, and grade 7, 5, and you will be attending classes beginning 12, and mentoring clubs throughout the entire state. So you're gonna have Tony maybe assigned to go to Naples, he may decide to go to Jupiter, because he's an instructor as well. The instructors don't have a job anymore, have to find something for them to do, and that they're gonna be doing. Now you have, been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Have instructors going out into the our assigners. Our experience, our assigners that are / instructors
Yeah.
contact with the referee and face to face.
Which is, but I mean, Tony's gonna be able to handle,
Because he's not gonna have any classes to do. He has to get paid.
I don't mean to go all the way down, I mean, obviously in this area, yeah, but.
He has he's a state instructor.
Does soccer keep track of the problems we have with refs? Do we have a way that we can track that? No shows and.
No, that's pretty much done by emails, it's not that many, because,
Do we have?
well, a few last year, but they
Yeah,
were all over.
and do we have a record of it?
Only what was emailed to me, because I know when Got Soccer, who didn't show up because we have so many signers
Yeah.
that were not using Got Soccer. That will,
The database it will not pick that up.
it's not what happens on the field, it's only gonna know what the assigner puts in and what the
But
referee
we can
puts
keep,
in.
we can keep track of it, but again, we should start to do that just when we're talking about these things. For instance, we always are talking, not always, 90% we have no facts, which is the questions. We get more years with a lot of the stuff in God soccer, we can say with certainty, to track teams, to have pros and things that we know. We should do the same thing with the ref assigners. If we have a guy we're talking about, Tony versus these guys, how many times did they, and that's the where when we're making these decisions, we'll have some database that say, geez, they both did pretty good, or, whatever. But, if we both then we're making a decision without facts.
We do have the game reports where,
And I don't want to bore through that.
well, no, it pulls up into a spreadsheet with the comments. However, there's not that many that put in the center ref didn't show, because somebody else has to. So usually when that happens, I'm not, but then again, it's by email. And it happened all over. There was
Every district.
every district.
There wasn't,
Well, but it does matter. In other words, if there's a pattern, if you see a pattern,
that's what I'm saying, there wasn't, it was kind of all, it wasn't one person more than the other.
And
well, no, but if we
You
keep
had-
track of it, you'll know,
You had a referee that, gets in a car accident
Oh,
on
no,
the way.
I don't-
You had a referee that
legitimate
gets
reasons
sick.
for it, no doubt.
There's all kinds of
The
reasons.
referee that goes to the wrong field.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of even,
But it's good to know all, I mean, we're supposing they're gonna get to the fields, we should know if they didn't get there, and why.
So,
yeah,
you know,
we did.
If the guys had 3 accidents in 3 weeks,
Mhm.
you know.
but I guess getting back
The
to,
dog ate my homework, you know.
because you have a flight, so getting back, unless you want us to just take it right up to your flight, you know, you're only 5 minutes away, but the original thing is, are we allowing Tony to continue with the seniors and the other 2 to stay with the juniors? Are we having any problem with them doing the juniors again? You know, so let them, you know, the two.
I think that would be fine, that's my opinion, especially because you're throwing a lot more games in C3. They're keeping them from C5. And so it's fantastic. I mean, Hugo had everything
So,
covered.
Is there any reason why they couldn't cover the senior games as well?
And you want the stronger rest.
Well, that's true, so are we saying really that Tony has, that was my next question, is that you have the seniors where you make sure you have the right rest and the right games in the right areas, in your opinion, Tony has more of a understanding of that than.
As an instructor, he has a bigger book.
Yeah, and I know, I've known Tony for years, so yeah, I know
You
Tony.
know what to deal with.
Then let's leave it the same way.
So then let's just leave it the same, that we
Let's bow to that,
give
you know, these guys.
it to Tony for the seniors, because we wanna make sure, and then, you know, again, we'll revisit it again, and if it seems like broad, you know, there's really no issues, we can try to experiment again. Personally, I think, you know, it should be signers and no senior games, because that's where you have most.
We should develop somebody down in that area too, find somebody that does the high schools.
Needs to be experienced, and
Yeah.
him that are just gaining experience now.
That's what I'm saying, so another year of doing it with understanding and getting more knowledge of it, then we'll go ahead.
The next question is, you paying the assigners $25 a meeting to come to the USA meeting. Since we increased their pay to $7 a game from $6 a game, do you want to continue that practice?
Yes.
Now, my personal opinion, this is me, employees, they need to be coming to board meetings.
Are they coming?
Well, if,
They're more disruptive than anything else. We've had Jim disrupt our conversation on Auburndale, and at the AGM, Dave Deegan was interrupting. So, their board
do we require, they don't come, they don't always come, because we don't always say.
They used to.
certain ones do, some certainly.
And we require, because we may have a question, but you're gonna be in touch with them anyway,
Yeah.
are you not, Linda?
Not only that, the original reason was so that they would understand the rules of USA. But we have streamlined where we're going to tell them,
They can also get on the website,
yeah,
listen to us.
Well, let's not require them to come anymore.
no more requirement and more travel pay of $25 a meeting. I'm tracking, last I was tracking.
We'll be very surprised to see anybody here pretty soon. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I can't, why
unless
anybody
there
would-
is issues, specific
Right.
issues, and that's different.
And really, if they've got an issue, they need to be contacting Sherry or myself, not bringing it in front of an open forum. This is not the place.
We'll have some
And we
issues,
may
but this-
invite them to come in to make a statement
If
or
there's an issue,
if
yeah.
there's a need.
I mean, what we saw tonight, it was, I mean, he didn't need to be here, so you got Gerald's gonna come to him, one of the guys, that should be in the end, what we
Yeah,
all,
well, Gerald here.
then we figure out, yeah,
Okay,
get
next
out of the house.
thing is, we need to set some dates. The first DOC meeting, the planning meeting, last year we set the date in February when all the dates were gone because of Region Cup, State Cup, all that. We'll look at the calendar now and set a date for that meeting so that people can do it, I'm just saying in January, you won't run Region Cup. By that time, people will know what their impressions of the year has been.
That for the next meeting, you know.
Okay.
But we'll contact everybody, if my email starts working, we'll contact everybody to think about it and give us an opinion.
But I'm okay with it. We can, I mean, you know, in some cases, it's
You gotta
even
fit
a little
everything in
better.
there, man.
Oh, no.
And as Chair, as I said, we tried to schedule it, and of course, all the good days were gone, and we went back and forth over those.
We had a pretty good show, I mean, we had a pretty good, we missed a couple guys, but we had a lot of people there. Clubs in there.
And the other thing that I wanted to bring up is I think we need to book the hotel for the 2015 coaches. Because figured out the ones we got this year, and we booked them like, what, months ago? We need to be looking ahead. So
And we just look and see how the coaches meetings go with the hotels that we have now, and then if they, we'll just rebook them away. We'll just-
Exactly, so that we can have the big rooms, because the problem is getting the big rooms.
Yeah, booked out at these hotels, and there's no reason why we,
Right.
hotel we're following.
Right. Unfortunately, we cannot have it here because there's no parking.
Gosh, I couldn't, I knew there was nobody in here, and I still couldn't find a park.
Right, so.
A rainstorm, they're hanging out at Hogan's Beach.
Okay, this is the last one, expense reimbursement procedures. I'm gonna put a link to, and I think it's called Certify, up there, so that you can put your mileage in. What you have to do is create your own account with them. Put mileage in, you put an address, an address, and it, mileage, right.
Like a Google Maps or.
It does that, so you can put in for board meetings for the AGM, and when you go to the AGM, there's a place there where you can upload your meal receipt. You set up your own account, it's free.
They look on the USA site?
You will have it.
Oh, okay.
It
She'll
will
give
be
us
up
a
there.
link that we go and we just use it.
Yeah, it's
It doesn't
gonna-
have to be up there because we're the only ones using it.
Well, I'm gonna put it up there so that you've got it, and then once you've all got it,
You
then
get
I can
mileage.
take it.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's, you have to set your own account up. It's a free service. It's either that or I pay $8 per month per person. I'm thinking that was ridiculous.
No.
But we can get this for free. Then all you do is email to me, then I now have a copy of it, and I can reimburse you. And for you two new board members, I'm going to need, your banking information, because we do not use paper checks, we do direct deposit. So, if you want to, send me a board check or something.
There's two, and I don't know if it's for, you're just talking about loading and documents. We talk about when we have to, picture of something to send in. There's I don't know, my wife, I'll get the name of it. I don't know if it's for just iPhones or if it's Androids too, but there's a app now that literally, you take a picture of this or a game report, and it literally converts it to a PDF, and you can text and email it wherever you want. I've already done it 3 times, like, for vehicle things.
Okay, you've got a better one than I do. If you could.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful app, and it comes out nice and clear.
iPhone app?
She got it on the iPhone. I can even text her if she can get back to me before we leave, but.
We're asking the rest, what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, you go click, and it turns it into a PDF,
And it's a PDF that's much better than JPEG.
yeah, it's a PDF, and,
iPhone app or an Android app?
that's what no, because I only have it on the iPhone, but, let me see if I can get the name, I'll see if I can get it.
If you can, before I put all the stuff out, we're gonna put that information on here, so the rest will
Yeah.
have it.
Let me see if I can get the name of it, and then whoever has an Android, I can look and see if they can.
$7 for these minors.
No, I mean, for, like, right now, we're getting mileage.
Get mine to come to the meeting. Go to the AGM, we set meal reimbursement, it's on the website in the minutes.
Yeah, we changed it slightly to
Mm-hmm.
reflect the true ruling.
And even fax it.
You get gas, too.
Want them back, but.
No, I'm just, but you can, it's a feature.
$4 doesn't make it anymore.
Fax a document.
Yeah, it's just that we really want them sent to an email address, because we want
That's
the
easy.
we want the game number and the subject line, so that Sherry and I can find the game report. When we get what's recorded as is the fax number it came from. Well, I can't find game 234 if I'm looking through fax numbers.
Yeah, in the
But if I
past,
get that,
it would be from that number.
Yeah, that's,
If she doesn't send me back now, I'll definitely email it to you.
yeah, 'cause
And the only reason why I haven't downloaded it is because my phone's all messed up.
right, so,
he's only, like,
expense reimbursement. Okay, I think that's everything. Please look at the memos that are on the website.
nothing on
These are memos that we're putting out to,
Everything is up on the website.
I saw some of them, like the new rule concerning,
He's gonna put something in there.
what was the one up there?
They're all up there.
Yeah. Did we put the
Big thing
new
is
rule,
whether you'd have to start the second half after.
right, but did we put the new rule up there about the teams entering on, new teams coming in third division,
It's
yada,
a
yada?
rule.
ago, we added it, and Linda even, I don't know where you put it, there's a lot of new rules.
It's
We
not,
changed a ton of things.
Well, then we should at least put something up there that states, there are, you know, a few new rule changes, please make sure.
You did, where
I
was
did,
it?
I
read
sent
it. Yeah.
I emailed it out to all the clubs.
Yeah.
I can take that little bit and I can put it on the
Yeah, just put
meeting.
it, you know, containing placements and blah, 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 just so we cover ourselves and say, well, you know, we keep to the clubs, we put a, warned you all to make sure that you look through the new rules this year, we, you know, we really spent time, they cleaned up the rules and, you know, that's important, so that was a suggestion.
And Paul's gonna get his email fixed so that we can get him, yeah, 'cause he's not getting
Well,
mine
you know,
and I'm
the
getting
Tampa, the Roadrunner, what do you call it, server was down from 47 this morning till like 4 in the afternoon. I think probably
Oh.
where things were nothing. I called them and they said, no, the server's down. I thought it was me. And at the time, whatever came in, they must have dropped it or not had it.
Touch base, it's in the cloud.
in the back.
But I sent that, the email out to everybody a couple days ago. I mean, that shouldn't be, check that.
Email about,
I sent it to all the board members to think about, to talk about C5 things, start thinking about it now, because we come with a more informed thing, and if someone wasn't here, they could just what I think about it, because that's a big enough issue. I think we need to chew on it a little bit and have everybody
do
decide.
you want a memo put on the front page of the website about that,
I
or
would, yes.
you do want a memo on the
Yes.
front page?
Yes, say from here on, it's our intent, second and third, because we're gonna tell those clubs, they've gotta know down there if, they're gonna be traveling, or it affects all of them, I think. You know?
So, Mary and I'll work something up, won't we?
That's how I answer my wife, huh?
That's all I've got.
All right,
We get out of here.
is that it? All right.
That's that, I just wanted to go through all that, but I just want to
Motion.
remind you that.
Yeah, motion to adjourn executive session.
Meeting, I think, but
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Roll it to.
good. Keep on.
Thanks, Kurt, thank you.
Close your eyes.